Y'all already know what the time it is. Movie savant season, and your boy Biscuits back with another video. I just came out of Once Upon a Time. It's about 3 hours, give or take. Um, and I would say it was worth it. This isn't a review, but it's definitely worth it to see it. It's a Tarantino movie. If you don't go see a Tarantino movie, you're approved is what you are. That's the only way to put it. You gotta watch it. It's a Tarantino movie. The take of it is it's a different. It's both a retelling. Well, no, it's I guess an analysis of how the direction of Hollywood was going from one actor's perspective. If you don't know anything about the movie, which you probably should if you're planning on watching the movie, and at the same time, there's one part of the act, or there's one act of the movie that is intent on, I guess, kind of being a memoir of Sharon Tate Pulaski, and that's where I'll start at. Just five quick things that I think people like to know or people like to discuss if they just watch the movie. If you haven't watched the movie, you probably should before watching this, but I'll try to keep it spoiler free as much as possible. First thing, there's no use of the N word in the entire movie. I made sure that I watched through and looked for it. If you watched pretty much almost any Tarantino movie, I know that it's in Pulp Fiction. I believe it's in Kill Bill Volume 1. I'm pretty sure it's first movie. I know it's in the first movie. Reservoir Dogs, Django, of course, and Hateful Eight. So that's at least half of them that have the N word. It's almost as common as the next thing I'll be talking about, a foot fetish. Tarantino does include his pretty much necessary foot fetish flicks in here. There's there's three different shots that I can think of off the top of my head, but there's like a lot of mini ones that you'll also notice along the way, just with the way the camera pans. Third, I feel like this is his most ambitious, writing wise, out of most of his, because most of his movies, well, I won't say most of his movies, but some of his more recent movies are basically, I guess, kind of what this is, a retelling of some old story or just history in general gone a different way. I suppose most of his first few flicks were like original, as in he wrote that out. It's his story, blah blah blah. I feel like this is original too, even though I did mention earlier it's a retelling. At the same time, it's a retelling from a director that I guess was around studying films and Hollywood, so it'd be original to us. I think it's a very ambitious plot wise. Number four, like I said earlier, the middle act is kind of a Sharon Tate memoir, which I believe Tarantino liked Sharon Tate quite a bit in real life, or liked, either way. And I think I don't think it was a compromise necessarily to like make this not as badly received as it could be, including Sharon Tate at all. In the way that it does. I won't spoil how, but I mean, it's very obvious once you look at the dates that this is taking place as, you'll understand what happened during Sharon Tate during this time. But the middle act includes Sharon and her, I guess, her life quite heavily. And it's very well done. It's not like shoehorned in or like, unnatural feeling, I should say. I don't really know of any Sharon flicks, but like I read about, a lot of, I guess, like backpackers, writers writing about how she was more than just the the Manson family case and all that, and it does do a good job of portraying her such a way. And my fifth one, I think that this might be Tarantino's second worst panned flick. Not to say it's his second worst flick, but without looking it up right now, out of the 9 major ones, the ones like this he written, produced, and directed, or whichever one of those prerequisites are important, I would say this is probably gonna be above Hateful Eight. It should be anyway. I feel like it's better. Is it better? I don't know. I haven't seen Hateful Eight in a couple of years. I think it's better than Hateful Eight. Um, but you know, you say Jackie Brown. I think it's better than Reservoir Dogs. I'm not really a big fan of Reservoir Dogs, but you know, I could see where Reservoir Dogs would be higher. It's definitely not better than Pulp Fiction, Django. I never watched Glorious Bastards, but I mean the legacy that has, it's probably not better than that too. Um, but it's definitely good enough. Let me say this part of my fifth things you need to know. If you know anything about 50s to 60s cultural references, you know, not musical necessarily, but like radio, TV, movie, things like that, this would probably be one of his best movies you've ever seen directed by him. It's a lot of things the average viewer won't be able to grasp, which I think is a little bit different than your average, at least recent Tarantino flick. A lot of things like Inglourious Basterds, things like that, those are pretty much, I feel like, more face level than this movie. This movie has a lot of things to dig up. But anyway, I guess if I had to put a number on it, which I really don't want to, because I feel like I said, there's a lot of things I didn't grasp. I'd probably put like a 8.5 out of 10 on it. There's a long while during the second to late first act where I was kind of like, this is interesting, but I don't know if this is like classic all-time great. The third act is where you'll start taking real life current cultural things, because of, you know, the past couple of years or so we've been focused on the Manson family as a medium. There's a lot of things that you'll recognize and start thinking about, like, oh, this is about to happen, and that's where the third act, I think, makes itself known as a classic. But yeah, I don't want to give any other opinions. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Peace.